Okay, now we're going to go ahead and get the inside siding on the back of the frame members, and to start the car out, we're going to just put it on the back of this, this piece, the side frame. We'll put it on the inside of this after we assemble the frame into the basic car box. And then if you're going to go ahead and put wood on the inside of your car, then you'll want to do that right now too. You want to cut the wood for the back of the door panels as well. I'm not going to put it on mine because I'm going to use the pieces of black styrene that we cut earlier after I paint them all a rusty color. So I'm going to set these aside. I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to make sure I know which is the inside and out. This is my back side, so that's the side I want to put the wood on. And I'm going to start out with the Midwest 8021. It's an O scale 1x8, and when you buy these on the back, they'll have a chart and tell you, the one that you're buying here is in blue, and it'll have if this is HO scale or O scale or G scale, what it is, and this happens to be a 1x8. I know it seems pretty thin for the car, but it looks good when it's on there, and doesn't look too hugely out of scale. So we got to get started with cutting up some wood here. The first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to add wood grain. If you're doing wood grain in your car, you're going to want to add wood grain to some of these boards. Now, some of them it's nice to just not wood grain and just leave them plain. Again, use a lot of different techniques on some of them. If you're putting grain on them, use the Atlas track saw is a good tool. Another one that works well is like a wire brush in a pen, and you can change the lengths of these, and this works good for scrubbing out different things. So we'll get started here, get some more light on us, and we'll start graining some wood. Now these really thin pieces, you really got to be careful. For sure on these you don't want to go back, you always want to go forward. So we'll go ahead and grain these up. Again, we're going to start with just some basic grains. I'll do both sides of these. And I'll do, we're going to need 3 of these for each side. So we'll do, I'll do 3 here now, and then we'll just repeat that for the other side. Again, you want to use one of those techniques where you put the saw blade curves on here. Go ahead and do that. You just got to be careful because these are really thin. The last one. Okay, and now we have to get the, again, you see when the graining, if I can get that to look at that, you'll see that it's pretty beat up, pretty fuzzy. That'd look really bad in a photo. Okay, it looks even bad just looking at it here. So we'll take our Scotch-Brite and we're going to fold it around, and we're just going to go one way with this, and don't come back. It's pretty much impossible to come back without breaking this. Now if you do break these, don't worry about it, because we're going to cut these up into all different random pieces to get kind of that randomly applied, just cut any old board and get it on there type look on these cars. It adds a lot of uniqueness to each car. So I'm just going to go ahead and get the fuzzies off of this here. kind of even just going on the side of this, just real gentle to knock off any edge fuzz. It's kind of hard, but it'll do it. If you got a real stubborn spot, you can put it on here and go along it. So get this other two done here pretty quick. And then the last one. Okay, now that we got all these pieces grained up with some basic grain and the fuzz taken off, we're going to go ahead and cut some individual boards to put on the side that is the worst of the car. And for mine, that's going to be this side of the frame. And the way I do this, I just get a straight edge razor blade, and I'll just lay a piece on the car using these vertical pieces as the joint and of the boards on the inside. So we'll line that up, and I'm pretty rough at this point, and this one I'll just happen to mark right about there. And then so we'll cut these off. Now take the next one, maybe go from here, go from this frame member maybe all the way over to here or here. I think I'll go all the way out to here on this one, kind of give it a different look here. And we're going to cut from, so we're putting the end of it on the middle of this one, and then we're going to cut on the middle of this one here. So there's that piece, and then we'll just finish it off from the middle of this one to the somewhere out here. We can trim off the edges later. So this is the first row, and now at this time you want to really go through these and do whatever kind of weathering you want. You can stick with just the basic grain that you put on. It'll look really good. But you can also come in, with tools like X-Actinus, and you can take and chip up the end of one of these boards, like where it's starting to rot, where maybe the nails are. If you want some rot in the board, I'll sometimes scrape out, even actually go all the way through, but I'll just scrape along here, really roughen up some grain. And then to clean that up, I'll take another Scotch-Brite pad, and I'll scrub it in there to get all that stuff out. If that doesn't come out very easily, then I use this tool to get in here and get all those fuzzy pieces out of there. And we'll check how that looks. So we'll put some real heavy grain on some of these, so we can get that. And do it now. You have to do it to both sides of these because both sides will show. And actually, this one looks like some of those breaks I made in there came all the way through, which will add some nice, you'll be able to see light through this when it's empty. But you can put holes, knot holes. You can split some boards I take, and I'll break. I'll just tear little pieces of them off like that, or I'll even break out just grab it with your fingernails and just put a break. You can break it. You can glue that back together on the car side, or you can just leave it broke off and put a patch on it. So kind of just go use your imagination and just spend some time on this and get the whole car side. I've finished one here, and you can see I've got some holes in it, some splits. So go ahead and weather this up, and we get that done, then we'll go through the method of putting on the inside of the car. So go ahead and cut all your pieces. Try to keep them in order. That's where they go. So this would have been a top row. So we can piece this back out kind of like a jigsaw puzzle when we get all of our pieces cut.